I found more mention of a half woman, half deer manhunter in a short excerpt from Lakota Woman, when Mary Crow Dog reflects on the traditional beliefs and cultures of the Lakota people. It took further digging to really find out anything about the deer woman because all the forms of media that we've absorbed portray the deer woman with an air of mystery, which I guess is sort of the point of her character. It's supposed to be mysterious, and that kind of helps develop this feeling of anticipation or fear in the reader or viewer of the show. So the Pioneer Woman Museum in Oklahoma actually has an interesting section that's highlighting powerful Native women in history, and there's also mention of the deer woman myth in this section of the museum. The Woodlands and Central Plains tribes are where this myth originates from. However, it has expanded as different tribes incorporate it into their cultures with their own version of the stories. But while the specific stories of the deer woman vary from tribe to tribe, there are a few key features that are prevalent across the cultures. The deer itself is supposed to represent a boundary between worlds, referring to the living and spirit realms. Traditionally, the manifestation of the deer woman is portrayed as a beautiful lady with deer-like features such as hooves for feet like we saw in Reservation Dogs, or wide doe eyes like we saw in The Only Good Indians, maybe unruly hair, sometimes even antlers. And she stands as the embodiment of fertility and sexuality, and oftentimes she lures men into her orbit with such an aura. But she kills the men who prey on females, or in some cultures, she even kills the men who prey on children, whether it be male or female. And I was surprised that the internet describes the deer woman as a protector of females and children, because in all of the depictions that we've encountered her, she's been a ruthless killer. And that's especially in the case of The Only Good Indians, because she slaughtered so many characters who weren't even involved in the death of her mom. She was just on a killing spree. And at that point, she's not even seeking revenge anymore, and it just seems very cruel and unnecessary, I guess, the level of revenge that she's seeking. But anyhow, so apparently there are ways to save oneself from the fate brought on by the deer woman, such as burning tobacco and performing ritual chanting. Another way is to recognize the deer woman for what she is, and in doing so, she will be banished. I guess this is seen in Reservation Dogs when young Big identifies the deer woman and then she leaves his life forever. But in The Only Good Indians, Lewis knows what the deer woman is and it still kills him. I also found it interesting how the myth of the deer woman is construed to fit a more American versions of her story, such as in the movie Promising Young Woman, which is about a beautiful lady who lures men away and kills them if they try to take advantage of her. Perhaps this concept, did not originate from the native myth of the deer woman specifically, but that this idea of lady manhunter type is just prevalent across various cultures.